Wait, hold on a second. I have something to tell you guys. I want to thank you all for watching my old sailing guide and to have, positive comment it and liked it because it gave me the motivation to make this new guide that I hope you will find really helpful. I just wanted to tell you that I love you. And I'm sorry if I don't upload many videos on YouTube anymore, but I'm really busy streaming on Twitch. And you can find my channel below, if you want to join me on my crazy adventures. And that's it, guys. Just thank you all, and I hope I'll meet you, you know, out in the ocean. So enjoy the guide, pirates. If you watched my old sailing guide, you know that I share with you not only the basic, but also detailed knowledge about the sailing mechanics of Black Desert Online. It's time that you forget almost everything I said, because our dear developers released a bomb update that renewed completely what you know about sailing and sea monster hunting. The sailing update, which is named the Great Expedition, sees us players upgrading our Bartali boat, Epheria sailboat and Epheria frigate in improved versions. It also allows us to board NPC sailors that will boost our boat stats and help us exploring to find treasures or supplies. Bartering has been included, and it is a new trading method with the purpose of earning sea coins and ship upgrading material. If you don't own any boat, you can start off buying a Bartali boat from Proix in Villia. You can find him in the tavern at the wharf. The price for a Bartali boat license is 10 million. You can choose if to upgrade the Bartali boat to an Epheria sailboat or an Epheria frigate. While the frigate is more suitable for the combat, the sailboat fits more the bartering since its weight limit is greater than the frigate. Here, we can observe what material is needed to upgrade our Bartali boat to an Epheria sailboat. We can buy a lot of things from Filiberto Falazzi in Port Epheria. All we need is a ship upgrade permit Epheria sailboat, and then take care because you need one Bartali sailboat Old Pro, and so on for every piece of gear that you see here. Make sure you buy the Bartali sailboat, Old Plating Pro, Canon, whatever it is, but make sure you buy the Bartali one. You can enhance them to bring them to +10 as required with Blackstone armor or concentrated Blackstone armor. Then we see that we need 800 standardized timber square, 600 steel, 1500 pine plywood, 300 flax fabric. It requires also 100 hard pillar. We can see that the amount of standardized timber square, steel, pine plywood and flax fabric is exactly the same of the one required to build a sailboat in the shipyard in Port Epheria, and which, by the way, is still functioning normally. So we can state that upgrading a Bartali sailboat to an Epheria sailboat is more expensive than building an Epheria sailboat from scratch. For what concerns upgrading a Bartali sailboat to an Epheria frigate, the matter is the same, but we can notice that we need 600 less pine-coated plywood than if we would build an Epheria frigate in the shipyard in Port Epheria. Once we have our sailboat, we want to upgrade it to the improved Epheria sailboat version. It requires old prow, old plating, old cannon and old windsail from Filiberto Falazzi in Port Epheria. This time we don't need to enhance these pieces. It also requires 10 ultimate armor reform stones, 250 standardized timber squares, 200 steel, 500 pine plywood, 100 flax fabric and 30 hard pillar. Please note that ramming is not a thing anymore. You will get too much damage from it. That's why you need an improved version of either the frigate or the sailboat to be able to shoot cannonballs with your mouse rather than mounting the cannons. When we want to upgrade our improved Epheria sailboat to Epheria caravel, as before, we can buy a lot of the stuff needed from Filiberto Falazzi in Port Epheria. This time, we will need verdant blackstones to enhance this gear. Verdant blackstones can be obtained by exchanging level 1 bartering items with Ravinia in Velia or with Ravinia in Port Epheria. They can be obtained also by completing Ravinia's log. Verdant blackstones have a low chance of dropping when killing a sea monster. What we need next is 100 graphite ingot for upgrade, which can be made in the L menu, select heating, and put in 100 zinc ingots and 1 sea monster hooves. It will give you 1 graphite ingots for upgrade. It of course means that to make 100 graphite ingots, we will need 10,000 zinc ingots and 100 sea monster hooves. Sea monster hooves can be acquired by defeating the hungry Icarus and hungry ocean stalkers that wander around the mapped island. What we need next is timbers for upgrade. To make timbers for upgrade, we need 100 red tree lumps, 100 old tree barks, and 1 sea monster hooves. So again, we need 100 of those. It means we need 10,000 old tree barks, 10,000 red tree lumps, and 100 sea monster hooves. You can make the timber for upgrade by opening the processing window L and use chopping. And we are going to use the sea monster's hooves again with the adhesive for upgrade. To make one, you need to open the processing window L, use heating, and put in it 1 sea monster's hooves, 100 white cedar sap, 100 acacia sap, and 100 elder tree sap. Again, if you want to make 100, which is what you need 10,000 per every type of the saps needed and 100 sea monster hooves. After the adhesive for upgrade, we want to get 100 island tree coated plywood, 100 zinc ingots, and 4 deep sea memory filled glue. These are all items that you can acquire by bartering, and I will show you how. When you open your escape menu, you can find at the bottom an icon saying barter. In this window, you can see the barter information available at the moment, and I say at the moment because it takes 4 hours to refresh. It means you have 4 hours to barter these items before they change. We can, for example, start with grilled bird meat. We can exchange 1,021 of those for 1 level 1 golden sand at Circa Island. We can exchange the golden sand at Arita Island for level 2 conch shell ornament. Following the same reasoning, we can exchange the level 2 conch shell ornament for 3 level 3 school symbol carpets at Modric Island. Then we can get a level 4 green salt lump at Elmai Island, bartering one of our 3 level 3 school symbol carpets. Afterwards, we exchange our green salt lamp for level 5 fish scale at Paddix Island. And finally, we can exchange our golden fish scale for 79 sea coins. We are left with 2 school symbol carpets. We can decide to barter them for 1 pure pearl crystal, which is an upgrading item, as we can read. It is needed to make an upgraded plating. As you can see in the description, the pure pearl crystal can be given by bartering many different level 3 items. The same goes for the rock salt ingot, but it requires level 2 bartering items. And this level 2 particularly cannot be gotten in this barter batch. It means you want to store as many level 2 and 3 barter items to be able to exchange them when something you need comes up, like, in this case, Island 3 coated plywood and Deep Sea memory filled glue. At this point, we only need 6 seaweed stalks. You can buy it at Crow's Nest with sea coins, or, quoting the patch notes, a strange natural phenomenon occurs at Okila's eyes every hour. Many say they witnessed a waterspout rising from the center of Okila's eye, but no one knows why this happens. The message, "something strange is going on in the eye of the great ocean," will be displayed every 3 hours. After a while, a waterspout will rise from the center of Okila's eye. If your character is at this location when this happens, your character could die. There is no death penalty for dying from the waterspout. You can find a treasure chest around Okila's eye after a waterspout. A waterspout causes 3 large explosions. Various types of treasure chests will fall from the sky after a waterspout, which you can open by using 1 silver key. These treasure chests disappear after 1 minute, and we can see what we can receive from the chests. Another way to acquire seaweed stalks is by completing a daily quest given by Curio at Okila's eye. Here's where he is located. Give 10 coral pieces to Curio to receive 4 seaweed stalks. The Epheria caravel can be upgraded further in either Epheria Karak Advance or Epheria Karak Balance. To upgrade our caravel to Epheria Karak Advance, we need 4 gear pieces. It says that we can create them at Port Epheria 1-4 second floor, and then we need to enhance them. But this time, to enhance these gears, we need special blackstones. We need fiery blackstones from the level 0 to 5 and frosted blackstones from the level 6 to the level 10. We can obtain these special blackstones by bartering, or we can find them in the sea coin shop. Afterwards, we need 180 moon bane flax fabric, which we can obtain by defeating Khan, the Eye of the Great Ocean. For what concerns deep tie-dyed standardized timber squares, we need 144. It says defeat sea monsters. If we take a look at the crafting notes, we can see that we have to chop 1 usable pirate ship remains to obtain 1 deep tie-dyed standardized timber square. We can also take a daily quest in Okila's Eyes that gives 3 deep tie-dyed standardized timber squares each time we complete it. To get the brilliant rock salt ingots, we need to barter level 5 items as I explained previously, while we can get the Tear of the Ocean by opening a treasure chest in Okila's Eye, buying it from the Sea Coins shop at Crow's Nest, or we can get 1 a day by completing a daily quest given by the wharf manager at Okila's Eye. Keep in mind, you first have to complete the daily quests given by the soldier at his right before being able to accept the daily quest giving the Tear of the Ocean. For the Brilliant Pearl Shard, we need to barter level 5 items. Upgrading your Epheria caravel to Epheria Karak Balance version requires exactly the same material as the Advanced version, but the quantity, as you can see, is different. Now that you know how bartering works and how to find other items, I'm going to make it faster for the Frigate versions so that we can move on to other topics. The material needed to upgrade your Frigate version into an improved Frigate version is exactly the same required and explained previously for the sailboat to its improved version. The only thing that changes is that while the sailboat requires 10 ultimate armor reform stones, the frigate requires 10 ultimate weapon reform stones. As in for the sailboat to caravel, we have more or less the same material required to upgrade our improved frigate to galleass. Some that we can get from bartering, some we can get from defeating monsters. The only different thing is that we need to defeat Khan to acquire moon-scale plywood. For what concerns upgrading our galleass to Epheria, Carax, Valor and Volante, they requires the same exact material required to upgrade the sailboat version to its Carac versions. The only things that change are the quantity, and of course that we need gears for galleass here, while the sailboat version wants the caravel one. But what type of Carac is the best? Here we have some stats to look at. Being made for combat, the Carax, Volante and Valor need more speed, less cannon reload time and better stats overall. But we can observe how the weight limit and the inventory slots are better on the advanced and balanced Carax, because they are the perfect vehicle for bartering. Sailing has been improved because factors like current, wind, stamina, and the ability to shake the sail have been added. You can now decide when to shake out or reef the sails. When the sails are opened up, the ship is affected by the ocean winds, while when the sails are reefed, the ship will not be affected at all by the ocean winds. The sail can be reefed or shaken out by clicking the sail button, while the orange line above the ship durability is your speedometer. On the left, we have the current indicator, and on the right, we have the wind indicator. The arrow signals from which direction both current and wind are coming from. Of course, the ideal circumstance is when they point the same direction you are heading to. The timing of the skills is not determined by a cooldown time. It is instead controlled by the stamina. You can see that some stamina gets used up when we, for example, decide to ram. And so on for every other skill. The skill Ram takes 10% of total stamina. The skill Power Acceleration takes 65% of total stamina. The skill Breezy Sail takes 80% of total stamina, while the skill Abrupt Turn recovers the stamina. If the stamina is recovered back to 100% while or after you used Abrupt Turn, you can use the skill Breezy Sail right away. Volley is a new skill that lets you shoot out cannons from the left or right side of the ship by pressing left mouse button or right mouse button while sailing. It can be used from the sailing level Beginner 1. If you keep pressing down the left mouse button or the right mouse button, the volley skill will charge up and the cannonballs will be shot to a longer range. You cannot get off the ship during the volley skill cooldown time, and since the skill Ram shares cooldown with the skill Volley, the same happens when you ram. When you run out of rations and you are not close to a wharf, you can use food to recover some of it. The higher the food grade, the higher the amount of ration points recovered. If you run out of cannonballs, you can use Breezy Crystals or Origin of Wind to supply cannonballs. Breezy Crystals give 2 each, while Origin of Wind gives 8 each. Crow's Nest is an island located in the Ross Sea. To spot it without a compass, you can take as reference 2 islands that are northeast of Sikria underwater ruins, Timbera Island and Lirao Island. You can find the Crow's Nest sailing straight north of them. In this island, you can find Ravinia, the NPC that lets you access the sea coin shop that I mentioned earlier when talking about the material needed to upgrade our boats. We can observe that in the sea coin shop, we can buy a lot of material listed in the previous chapter, Surely it is expensive, but bartering on a regular basis should get you quite a lot of coins. C-coin coupons can be exchanged for Manus accessories as it follows. Ravinia also gives you a chain quest to complete called Ravinia's Ship Upgrade Log. It is a total of 7 quests. You can accept them in order over 7 days. It means they will be available once a day until you completed them all. The rewards for completing the Ravinia Ship Upgrade Log are pretty interesting. You can get a lot of sailing experience and tons of material. Ravinia and Ravinia are Ravinia's sisters, and they are respectively located in Velia and Port Epheria close to the wharf managers. You can exchange level 1 bartering items for Crow Merchants Guild's barter vouchers, which in turn can be exchanged with Ravinia at Crow's Nest for 1 verdant blackstone each. We can now board sailors to our boats. To hire one, you have to buy the Sailor Contract Certificate, purchasable from Filiberto Falazzi in Port Epheria, Eileen Bartley in Prax in Velia, and from any wharf manager in each region. The price is 3 million. At this point, you have to go to the tavern in Velia, or you can find them walking around the beach in Port Epheria. Remember, there is a chance that the sailor refuses your contract. At that point, the contract you bought will become invalid. Remember that the sailor might not be standing around when you go look for them, but they visit the same 2 places every day. We want to choose a goblin because it is the one giving speed buffs. Once you hire the sailor, it will start walking to the wharf. To access your sailor list, you have to go to a wharf manager. Click on your boat and then click on Manage Sailors. As you can see, there are many types of sailors. Their stats are applied to our boat on the right in yellow. So we can see that endurance equals to speed, wits equals to acceleration, awareness equals to turn, and strength equals to brake. It looks like the goblin is the best for what concerns raising up speed, so we will board him. Once you board the sailor, the stats that were in yellow will turn red, and the arrow that was pointing up will now be pointing down. This might be confusing for some people. It simply signals that if you are gonna disembark the sailor, the stats will obviously drop. The sailor has also a cabin cost. It is how much space it takes on a boat. For example, Arkan takes 3 cabin spots, while Vance and Endita take 10. Ander takes 5, and so on. If the sailor misses some condition points, we can recover them with food like raisin bread, purchasable from the wharf managers, and chowder that can be cooked by yourself with the following recipe. Sailors have a chance of getting sick. In this case, they will lose all their condition points and their stats will not be applied anymore to your boat. They cannot be disembarked when they are sick. To heal them, you need an elixir of regeneration. It can be made with Mandragora essence that you can buy for 100 sea coins in the sea coin shop at Crow's Nest. This is the full recipe to make one. Sailors don't only give you better stats, but you can send them to look for supplies for your boat or explore for treasures when approaching an island. You can explore or look for supplies only once every 20 minutes. Sailors receive experience and grow from defeating sea monsters, regular and special barters. When a sailor levels up, its stats will increase. Can is a new guild boss that drops material needed to upgrade our boats. To get his Salmon Scroll, you have to complete guild quests related to the sea and the ocean. For example, defeating sea monsters, fishing, or the Margoria type ones. These quests give an item called Cerulean Wave Crystal. Once you collect 10, you can exchange them for celestial map pieces with Canilla Delcas and Okila's Eye. When you collect 9 celestial map pieces, you can assemble them in a certain shape to obtain the incomplete linear celestial map, which you can exchange for the scroll to summon Can from Canilla Delcas. I really hope you enjoyed the guide and that he can help you out on your ocean adventures. Thanks for watching, pirates!